Orthodox or otherwise can tell you, and we have it on tape here on one night when I was on, the Talmud contains a 2nd century reference.
A second. I'm saying that the Talmud, as it is now, was authenticated in all of its documents, etc., about 1200 or something.
The 2nd century Talmudic document.
You're still nowhere near Jesus Christ. You're 200 years away from him.
Let him make his point, Madalyn.
Maintains that Jesus of Nazareth was the illegitimate child of Miriam, a Jewish girl, Mary, and a Roman soldier named Pandarus. And that he... yes, I thought you remember that. Now, it would seem very... don't dismiss it. It would seem very... Why would you dismiss it? It would seem very strange for the Jewish people who through the centuries have been blamed as a people for the crucifixion of Christ to have made reference to a man who never historically existed. Don't you think so, Mrs. Murray?
No.
I answer the question.
No. I'm going to answer it in this wise.
I want to hear
We have a man who is able to create beautiful characters. Charles Dickens. He's able to create these in complete form, depth, everything else. And just because he is able to create this does not mean that Fagin existed. And whether or not in the remember, I want you to remember 2 or 3 things. The world has been largely illiterate until just what? Since the late 1800s.
Your point?
So that you have Jewish historians with an axe to grind, or you have Christian historians with an axe to grind.
Jewish historians with an axe to grind concerning Jesus of Nazareth? Boy, you're pretty far off.
Please, here we have a beginning religion, and this beginning religion is predicated on the fact that a Jew has deserted his synagogic kind of faith and has tried to liberalize it. And that he has what? I'm talking about Jesus Christ trying to liberalize that particular element in which he
How can he liberalize that?
I'm talking about the story that was written. I'm talking about the story which was written. So that you have this schemata of ideas that is slowly coming to the foreground in, say, the year 200 or 300 or what have you.
200 will do fine.
And what will happen then if the Jews decide that they want some sort of defense against this story?
Just deny that it ever existed.
They could do that, but the mind is peculiar, and some Jews may decide, we won't do that. We'll cast aspersions on his birth, and we'll say that he was really born of Miriam, that he was illegitimate, and we know his father. Some people can say that. Other people can say other things.
Wait a minute.
So you have a different kind. These people, number one, they were illiterate. They knew nothing about history, archaeology. They knew nothing about science. They knew nothing about culture. They knew nothing, really, even about religion or the religious origins. They knew nothing about this.
Everybody's ignorant but you on these things.
You know that these people at this time were basically ignorant.
I know nothing of the sort. Josephus was one of the best historians of the time, and he
was not. And
he wrote
shot through all kinds
wait a moment. He wrote a very fine history, although it's not accurate in every area. It's a very thick and detailed history.
Well,
only right now, be either in everything.
If you will, please.
But he's still a good historian.
I was hoping that Rabbi Aaron Pearl would call us on the phone, and if he does, I would like to get a call through from him. I wonder if I might ask you, I would appreciate it, Mrs. Murray, if you don't interrupt, because I want to hear this myself again. What's wrong with you?
I'm waiting.
Oh, so then if you move up a little bit. Thank you. What I'd like to have you tell me again, what was your statement, because I don't want to misquote you, and I may do this if I attempt to paraphrase. What was your statement about the Jews in relationship to killing Jesus Christ?
I simply said that some Jews at the time of Pontius Pilate were directly responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth. And I specifically...
Are you aware of the fact that the Pope has said that this is untrue?
No, he's not said that.
Say?
He has said, if I read his statement correctly, that all Jews are not to be held responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus merely because they are Jews. But the Roman Catholic Church has never retreated from the position that there was initial guilt on the part of those who crucified Christ, both Jews and Romans.
Well, then I imagine that if you were to believe in Edgar Casey, the late Edgar Casey. And I don't have the quote in front of me here. I have it right downstairs in Gina Seminara's book, where she claimed that, or rather he claimed, that he could understand why the 6 million Jews were tortured and put to death in the manner in which they were. And this was because of atrocities they had committed in other incarnations, which I think is pretty ridiculous, and I cut up a woman pretty badly on the show when she made that statement.
I would agree with you. I wouldn't accept it.
But you do feel, well, because you don't believe in reincarnation.
No.
But you do feel that the Jews were responsible for the death of Jesus Christ, regardless of whether it's the Madalyn Murray's interpretation of Jesus Christ or yours. In other words, the man Jesus Christ was killed by someone. He was betrayed.
He was betrayed into the hands of the Romans by his own people, the Jews, Jewish leaders at that time, and probably a good segment of the populace. Mm-hmm. I believe this is the New Testament record.
I hope.
Historically,
Howard, can you put me through on a line that I can get this through? Now, a gentleman that I have great respect for.
And before you get on to the gentleman for whom you have great respect, may I make one other statement?
Surely, you're right ahead.
The Pope, in making this statement about the Jews, absolving them, on another program which I appeared here, I specifically stated that I did not believe that the local Jewish grocer or whoever he was responsible for the crucifixion.
I'm not attempting to say that this is your view, Walter.
I put it in a historical context.
However, the gentleman that I'm going to get on the phone now is an Orthodox rabbi. In fact, he is president of the Orthodox Rabbinical Association in New York. His name is Rabbi David Hollander. He's a man who I have great respect for, although we certainly are at odds in many religious discussions. But I think that he could be considered and recognized by anyone that he is an authority on Judaism and certainly an authority on the history of the Jews. And as soon as Howard gives me the cue, I'm going to ask him if he will cooperate by talking. Now, we can't over-talk him because he's coming through on a phone. And I just want to hear his views on the statement made by the Reverend Walter Martin. I think I don't need to worry about it. Oh, it's on this one here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he on? Do I have to press any of these others?
No,
just press this one here. All right. Rabbi Hollander?
Yes, sir.
It's nice to talk to you, sir. Could you, pardon me a moment, could you turn that down to just about 3, the position 3? Have you been listening for a brief period of time?
I just for a few minutes, yes.
I see. Would you care to comment on the statement just made by the Reverend Walter Martin?
Well, I tell you, the only comment is that we reject completely any guilt or charge or indictment of the Jewish people of then or the present time in connection with his belief in the killing to which he referred.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Could I ask him something?
Yes, Mrs. Murray, yes, I'm going to give you an opportunity too, Walter. Mrs. Murray wants to speak with you, Rabbi Hollander.
All right.
Could you please tell us, Josephus was the historian for the Jews during that time when he could have reported on Jesus Christ, and we have been discussing tonight, how do you like that? Discussing tonight whether or not the reference to Jesus Christ in the writings of Josephus was what is called an interpolation, that is put there at a later time. I'm not giving this definition to you, Rabbi, but rather for the message of those people who are listening in who may not know what an interpolation is.
I don't quite understand your question. What is your question to me?
My question to you is, as a leading exponent of the Jewish religion, and certainly knowing Josephus, would you or would you not say that this was an interpolation? Reverend Martin says that this is part of the original writing of Josephus.
Reverend Martin said that in the earliest copies of the Josephus manuscripts, and I documented this on a previous program, the earliest copies of the Josephus manuscripts contain the reference to Jesus of Nazareth. Therefore, by the argument of textual